Good afternoon, YouTube. We are back.
This is Esteban.
Boris, and we are Good to Great Cigars, bringing you guys another cigar review.
And
What are we smoking on today?
I'm very excited about this one. This is a Montecristo New York edition.
The New York Connoisseur edition. I have mine here. I've got to keep my gentle hands because the ash. This is a nice tight ash.
It's looking very nice. It's a very nice burn.
See if I can show this bad boy off before it.
Look how pretty that is, people. Look how pretty that is. Looks more like a powder than anything else. Mine unfortunately fell off, so
I'm gonna go ahead and ash this before we have a big old mess. But I just wanted y'all to see that.
Very nice, very nice. Beautiful construction. So like I said, I'm very excited about this one. Did a recommendation on this one with Boris today, and we agreed to do this. I think it's a great addition to this show, and for y'all to get a good review from this particular cigar.
Yeah, we haven't done. I don't think we've done any Montecristo stuff, but Montecristo, you guys know, is a titan in the premium cigar industry. They're known for making quality cigars.
Oh yeah.
And they have quite a few that are out there, so some of them, you know, are kind of light. And this one I would say is on more of the fuller side. Probably would say it's like a body-wise medium plus.
I agree. It's definitely one of their flagships, if I could say so. It's really. I mean, I don't know what bad things I can say about this. It's just great all around. Love everything about it. The construction, the bands that come with it, the notes, which we're gonna touch base on. So stay tuned in for that. It's just the box press for it is just a great touch, which I kind of prefer on certain things, and this one is a good touch for this cigar.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the specifics for the blend. So this is, I guess, first off, it's a beautiful cigar. And Montecristo, they've gone and done a couple of different, I guess, like blends or names after certain states. So this is the New York Connoisseurs edition. This is the number 2 size. It's a Torpedo box press. And it's nice because you have the torpedo end on it, but you still have that box press, you know, type of feel. But this is the New York one. They also have a Chicago one. They have a Texas one.
And a Las Vegas.
And a Las Vegas one. All right, cool. So as far as the makeup of this beautiful cigar, it has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper and a Nicaraguan binder and a Dominican filler. So it's got, you know, pretty good blend from a couple of different regions. Adds to probably the flavors and, you know, complexity of the cigar.
Definitely.
So let's go through, I guess, kind of some of the basics of the cigar and give it a short review. You can see that right now we're getting close to the, I don't know if we're quite to the halfway mark yet, but
we're pretty close though.
We're getting there. We're done with the first third, so we've given it some time to open up and heat up and get into some of the flavors.
Yeah, we're definitely marinating, so it's I don't know. I mean, right now I'm drinking coffee with it, which I think goes pretty well. So is he, just to keep the palate fresh, but also it just goes well with this cigar. From reading, do you want to touch base on the notes right now? Or where do you want to start?
Well, let's just start from the top of the list. So first, what do you think about the size? It's a number 2 Torpedo box press. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I love the size. The box press makes it a little bit more appealing, like more on the thinner side. It gives you that, you know, that optical illusion. But even though it's a 50 ring gauge, very easy for the lips and the mouth to really get a good puff on it. The band's, like I said, beautiful. The New York band actually has the New York City skyline to it.
Yeah, it's very classy looking.
Yes, I mean, I could,
Cigar band.
if you're in a cigar bar sipping on some brandy or some scotch or something, this is definitely something that you want to be seen having in your hand. Very classy. Simple colors, just black and gold with a little touch of white, and it's it's just one of their addition lines, which makes it that much better. It makes you feel like you're smoking something worth the money. So
On that note, the price that we paid for this one was just around $12.
a little bit over 10,
We got our little VIP discount, so
definitely.
get a nice little price break on there. But as far as my outlook on the size, I think this is a beautiful looking cigar. The size is perfect. It's not too big, not too small. I'm not really a huge fan of like a huge fat ring gauge or anything like that. You definitely don't have that feel with this.
Same here, yeah, definitely.
But beautiful. I mean, the size, the number 2 Torpedo is an excellent design.
The color of the wrap, it has a little bit of an oil shine to it, which I like. It gives it just that much more of like appeal to it. The Torpedo, it's a great touch to it. It just gives it that little extra oomph, you know what I mean? And it just makes you want to buy the damn thing, for, in my opinion. And
What do you think about the draw?
man, I thought you'd never ask, man. The draw on this thing is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm
It's
getting a
like-
really good draw too.
I mean, it's like a straw, man, with a little bit of resistance in there, and it's just great. It gives you a nice puff of smoke that you can really get the full flavor inside your mouth. You can swish it around in there and then just blow it out very easy, and you can get all the notes that was intended from the Montecristo manufacturer.
Yeah, my outlook on the draw too. I just took like a little snip off the top. I like this design because the mouthpiece is a little bit smaller and it's round. That part is, and then you can just grip the box press design very nicely. But I'm getting an excellent draw off of it. No complaints there. A good amount of smoke that it puts off. Stays lit well. You can see it's not putting off a ton of smoke when it's just sitting, which is a nice thing. I've had some cigars that seem like a chimney when they're just going off, but this just puts off a nice little light smoke output. But when you puff it, you get a nice, nice clean, nice good draw.
Honestly, man, I'm in love with this cigar. I smoked one Monday, and I recommended it to Boris this morning before the review, and I think he's pretty happy with that. I think it's a great experience that, I think he's having with it. It's really awesome. This cigar is just outstanding, man. I really love it.
What do you think about the, let's talk about the retro-hale.
Oof, my favorite part of smoking. That right there. It's easy on the nose. You get a hint of a little spice, which might be from the cinnamon that they were trying to incorporate into it with the flavor-wise within it. It doesn't burn. It's very smooth, super smooth. And you get a lot of the notes from it, which is what is meant to happen. You get some cigars that are just so peppery that it makes you just sneeze right after or burn. This one doesn't do any of those things. Like I said, I really can't say anything bad about this cigar. It's made well. It's just made well. There's nothing really else to say about that. Holy cow. And you?
Very smooth retro-hale. That's where I think you can get some of most of the flavor from.
Always.
Of it is through that retro-hale. but it doesn't burn. That's
Yeah.
really important. I think even from the very beginning of the cigar, even till now, I'm getting even closer now to that halfway mark. The retro-hale, I would say at this point, still very smooth, doesn't burn at all, but a little bit more of a slight tingle than, the first third of the cigar, but it's still pleasurable. It doesn't burn. It doesn't, it's not unpleasant.
What's next on the list?
We talked about the ash already, which I already ashed mine towards the beginning. Who knows how much longer that would have held on, but I didn't want it to fall into my lap, so that's why I went ahead and ashed it earlier. But it was a nice tight ash, burns very nicely. I haven't had to touch this one up yet. Have you had to touch yours up at all? Okay, nice.
Which is always a
burn
good
there.
sign. And the flavor notes or the notes on this cigar, I don't see this as a boring cigar. I see it as a rather complex cigar, which is really fun. I love it when cigars are complex. They play with you a little bit. They give you a hint here, and then a hint here, and then a hint here. Just like Boris, referring back to what he just said. Now it's a little slight tingle, which isn't bad, but it's different from what it was in the very beginning. It's changing on us, which is really fun. I like the change. I encourage the change. If more cigars were like this, I'd be a happier person. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. You have those cigars that are just one flavored all the way through, some that are just bland, and they're not fun to really smoke. This one is, and that's my thoughts on that. What about you?
Yeah, it's complex. As far as some of the flavor notes, I'm trying to get some of those right now that come through. But let me say this while it's on my mind, because I just got hit with a little bit of a buzz. The strength profile. I mean, it's I would probably say it's medium strength. It doesn't hit you right in the face as far as being overpowering or too strong, but there is some strength to it, which is good. You've got a nice balance of flavor, and a nice balance of strength, which is nice. That's what helps you feel relaxed and kind of puts you in the zone.
Definitely.
I'd say with this cigar, this is a good cigar to smoke when it's quiet, you have time, you're just chilling.
Oh yeah.
So that you can fully enjoy it. Some cigars you can't focus on them, like when you're hanging out, if the environment's loud, or you're just hanging out with your homeboys and all of that.
Too much talking, like when you're in an environment where you're doing a bunch of talking, you really can't. You're not appreciating the cigar. I think you're kind of putting it aside because you're so deep into a conversation. Like he said, this is one of those cigars that you took the word right out of my mouth. Savor. You want to sit back, relax, watch your show, whatever it is, your sports, and you smoke this thing. Now, when I smoke something with a little bit more of a kick to it on the buzz wise, issue right there, I like to sip on a nice scotch. I like sipping on something, getting that little bit of a buzz with it, because it just makes it that much better. But that's just me. But for right now, the coffee will do.
Yeah. Sometimes, you're right. You can pair it with a nice scotch or a nice bourbon, but also sometimes that can take away from the cigar. And you have to be kind of careful with that. But this is good right now, and it's the earlier part of the day with coffee. Can enjoy this cigar. I mean, it's not a cheap cigar. The price point was like $12, so you want to enjoy it. You don't want it to just go unnoticed. But let's talk about some of the notes. And one of the things that's interesting about this cigar, and I don't know if this adds to the complexity element of it, but I get different flavors when I take a quick puff. Like quick puff like that,
Looks
I can
like
taste some certain notes
Looks like I'm gonna have to touch mine up.
versus, taking more of a longer draw and the retro-hale, you get different flavors as well. So maybe that's one thing to also, focus on whenever you are smoking is based on how you puff on the cigar can give you a different flavor.
And that goes back to having fun with it. It's just a different thing with just a simple short or long puff, which is great. It gives you something different to look forward to.
This is starting to get really tasty though now, to the point where I'm at right now. I can taste some nuttiness for sure.
Well, the cigar box itself said what the intended notes that they were trying to give us were coffee, caramel, nuttiness, and cinnamon. I can get what we're talking about with the cinnamon, especially when I retro-hale. Like I said before, it gives that little subtle spice after taste to it. And I don't mind it. I love it, actually. It gives you that little tingle. It lets you know it's there. It's not all up in your face. And it's really good. The coffee, I really can't comment on that because I am drinking coffee. So that's kind of, battling within itself. But
I can taste the coffee.
You can?
Mm-hmm. I can taste it. I mean, you've got to kind of concentrate on it, but it's opening up a little bit more. I think when you get towards the end of the cigar, you can pick up a little bit more on some of the flavors. So I can definitely taste a little bit of coffee, a hint of that. The dark roasted nut, I can taste that.
That's all up in your face, which I don't hate either. The nuttiness is great. It's boom, it's right there, and I can appreciate that because it's giving me something to taste, and it was a note that they intended for us to have. Now, it's different when the box says something and then you don't even taste any of that, and it's kind of like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, who the hell was smoking that? Well, this one, I mean, you can obviously taste it, which is really good. And I like reading the boxes because it lets me know what to expect, because when it comes to tasting notes, I'm not very good at that, but when I read it, it kind of opens my mind up a little bit, and I'm like, okay, now I see what they were intending.
See where they were going with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know if when they're blending a cigar, because this is definitely not an infused cigar. It's not a flavored cigar. And sometimes whenever you see those notes, that's, people's opinions of what they tasted. I don't know if you can really blend a certain type of tobacco that will have a cinnamon flavor or have, a certain type of flavor. But when it's all said and done, those are some of the notes that kind of remind you of those familiar, tastes that you've experienced.
I don't know, man. I'm really, really enjoying this cigar. I really am.
Yeah, this is definitely a quality cigar.
And it's nothing. I mean, it's definitely living up to the Montecristo name.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, man. I mean,
they're known for quality.
Exactly.
And this is good. I mean, I've heard some of the Montes being kind of light, as far as body and flavor, but this one is full flavored for sure. Body wise, like we mentioned before, medium plus. And just an overall great smoke. I love the size again. It feels perfect sitting in your hand. And very, very pleased with this smoke.
Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta hand it to Monty though. I mean, the Montecristo, because this right here is pretty much setting the bar for me, and it makes me want to try the Texas, the Chicago, the Las Vegas, and see what those cigars have to offer. Can I compare it to this one? Can I say that they're better? I mean, from the different people that we've been talking to and asking, we wanted to make sure that we tried the best one out of that group, and a lot of people recommended this one. But it makes me want to try it out myself and get my own opinions and thoughts of it, which is good because that's how you do good business. You have something for people out there that's really good, and then they want to try something else that you have with that same thought process of putting like the different city names to it or the state names. And it makes me want to try the Texas, obviously, because we're from Texas. But
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We'll wrap it up with a couple events. Oh, first off, final rating. I say great. Great Cigar, the Montecristo, New York Connoisseurs edition. Definitely try it out. Again, this is the number 2 box press. If you can get a hold of the box press size, definitely give that one a shot. I know that they have some other sizes here, at least at our humidor, but the number 2 box press is phenomenal.
Love the cigar. Like you said, try it. It's above the $10 range, we understand, but I think it's worth every single dollar.
And moving on to some of the events going on Saturday, July 25th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Club Humidor on Thousand Oaks. There's going to be a Perdomo Craft Series cigar tasting event and there's going to be some craft beers there. So this is definitely good. They're going to be doing kind of a joint event with San Antonio's own Ranger Creek Brewing. There's going to be cigar specials and raffles like always. Get double points. Time for you to rack up on those points so that you can get some more money to buy cigars with. And that's going to be, again, on Saturday, July 25th at the Club Humidor on Thousand Oaks, sponsored by San Antonio's own Club Humidor. And also, if you are around the San Antonio location or the Huebner location for the Club Humidor, they've just restocked their clearance racks. So you can get some awesome cigars like these ones right here that I just picked up. Some La Dueñas. If you haven't had those, that's a wonderful cigar.
That is a steal on a cigar. That is an absolute steal.
And I just bought all the rest of the Lanceros that they had, so I apologize for those that wanted any of the Lanceros, but I picked up the last ones that they had there, but they still have some more La Dueñas, as well as some other great brands. La Palina they had there.
I did see that, yeah.
Some Aging Room. So give them a shot. Make sure you check out the clearance rack so you can stock up for a good price. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Wrap up.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll be keeping them coming. Signing off. Y'all take care.
Y'all stay tuned.